Assalamualaikum and good day to all the panel. I am Nur Hidayatul Aina along with my partner Nafisa Akila will present our research topic, which is Community Initiative of Handling Solid Waste in their Household at Kampung ASSAM JAWA, KUALA, SELANGOR. We start with research background. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, solid waste is defined as any trash or garbage as well as mud from a sewage treatment plant, a water supply treatment plant, or an air quality control facility, and other waste material generated from industrial, commercial, mining, food waste, and community activities. The garbage collection in the streets, a low waste collection rate, and indiscriminate dumping or burning trash in open places are all signs of poor municipal solid waste. Improper garbage disposal techniques such as burning or dumping rubbish along roadsides and abandoned areas can harm the environment, create health problems, and decrease ecological resources. Furthermore, household solid waste is extremely diverse and heavily influenced by the social situation of the household. A social hierarchy is formed, and a combination of different statuses determines one's position within it. Although the characteristics of metropolitan areas in developing nations are common, waste management solutions should be innovative, persistent, and context-sensitive to respond to local situations. Environmental concerns about trash disposal are part of societal shift in which families have a crucial role. Solid waste is happening because of the rising creation of such substantial trash and the resulting financial load on governments. Aside from the high expenses, solid waste management is plagued by a lack of awareness of the overall system's various aspects. A literature review and reports on waste management in developing nations reveal that only a few papers provided quantitative data. For example, area in Kampung ASSAM JAWA, KUALA, SELANGOR, the garbage trucks do not pick up from lot houses, but instead, the garbage trucks pick up garbage at residential places only, such as terrace houses and flat houses. There are a lot of houses in the villages that dump a lot of rubbish and solid waste in their backyards. When the garbage piles up, they burn it and it will cause a pollution. We move to the problem statement of this research. Based on What a Waste 2.0, the world produces 2.01 billion tons of municipal solid garbage every year, with at least 33% of that are not being managed in an environmentally sustainable manner. The average amount of waste created per person each day is 0.74 kilos. However, it varies greatly, ranging from 0.11 to 4.54 kilos. Global waste production is expected exceed to 3.4 billion tons by 2050, more than double the population growth during that time. Digging holes near temporary or permanent residential areas and burying the rubbish used to be a common method of solid waste disposal. People who cannot find a suitable location to dispose of their trash would throw it into open fields or water courses, and this allows rats to contaminate the water and put people's health at risk. According to a statement made by the Minister of Environment and Water during a session in the House of Representatives on 3rd November 2020, solid waste are likely to rise as a result of the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. During the COVID-19 outbreak, solid waste generated in the country increased by 20% because of the increased frequency of activities at home due to stay-at-home orders. The percentage of household waste generated by over-purchasing, notably food waste, may have increased. Home trash is the primary source of municipal solid waste in Malaysia. Residential trash collection statistics represent 44.5% of overall reliable waste collection statistics, or 6.1 million tons of each year, according to Khazanah Research Institute. MSW comprises 20 main types, including food waste, which accounts for half of all garbage. So we move to the research question and research objective. So there are 3 research questions. First, do community residents know how to practice waste disposal? Second, are community residents concerned about the effect of domestic waste? And third, do residents know how to implement safety behaviors waste handling? So the research objective, the first objective is to examine the relationship between residents' waste disposal practice with their initiative in handling solid waste. Second, to examine the relationship between the knowledge of health effects of domestic waste with their initiative in handling solid waste. And third, to measure the relationship between public initiative of handling food waste in their household and the safety behavior related to their initiative in handling solid waste.
For conceptual framework, we are having 3 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. The first independent variable is a practice of community waste disposal. The second one is the knowledge of health effect of domestic waste, and the third one is the behavior related to waste handling. The dependent variable is the community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household. For community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household is influenced by the practice of communities' waste disposal. A study conducted by KADAFA 2017 revealed that residents' waste disposal practice are different since each resident uses a different method to dispose of solid waste. Thus, the resident waste disposal practices influence the community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household. So, for HO1 is there is no relationship between the practices of resident waste disposal and community initiative handling solid waste in the household. For HA1 is there is relationship between the practice of resident waste disposal and community initiative of handling solid waste in their household. For community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household is influenced by the knowledge of the health impacts of domestic waste. A serious challenge is a lack of knowledge, community involvement and recognition of best practices in ecologically sound garbage management by Juman 2010. Based on the study conducted by Shabani RA 2015, he stated that issues connected with insanitary solid waste management related to public health. The findings revealed that the majority of the respondents, 70%, were aware of the public health problems related to inadequate solid waste management. So the HO2 is there is no relationship between knowledge of health of domestic waste and community initiative of handling solid waste in their household. And the HA2 is there is a relationship between knowledge of health of domestic waste and community initiative of handling solid waste in their household. Last but not least, the community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household are influenced by the household's handling of solid waste. The theory says that an individual behavioral intents and behaviors are formed along with attitude to conduct, subjective and standards, and perceptive behavioral control by Asjan and Fishbane 1975. If people consider the proposed activity as favorable and if they think they are important, others desire it to be performed, then they have greater intention and are likely to do so. Hence, the HO3 is there is no relationship between the behavior of household in handling solid waste and community initiative of handling solid waste in their household. And for HA3 is there is a relationship between the behavior of household in handling solid waste and community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household. For research methodology, we are using quantitative research for our research design. For sampling technique, we are using non-probability convenience sampling technique. For unit of analysis, this study will focus on the relationship of solid waste and initiatives by the community in handling waste in their household in Kampung Assam Jawa. For data measurement, we are using questionnaire. For data collection, we are divided by section. Section A for demographic profile, Section B for practice of community toward waste disposal, Section C for knowledge of health effect of domestic waste, Section D for behavior related to waste handling, and last but not least, Section E for the community initiatives of handling solid waste in their household. For sample size, we are having 315 respondents among community lives in Kampung Assam Jawa. And for data analysis, we are using the test of normality, reliability analysis, and Pearson correlation.
As we can see in the demographic profile table, most of the respondents are female, which is 52.1%, followed by male, 47.9%. Most of the respondents age 18.28 years old, which is 35.6%, followed by 29 to 39 years old, 30.8%, 40 to 50 years old, 20.3%, and 51 to 61 years old, 13.3%. The most races responding to that questionnaire is Malay, which is 47.9%, followed by Chinese, 28.9%, and Indian, 23.5%. Meanwhile, the highest percentage of marital status is married, which is 56.8%, followed by single, 39.7%, and single parent, 3.5%. As for the academic qualification, most of the respondents have a degree qualification, which is 35.2%, followed by diploma 18.7%, SPM 18.4%, STPM 16.2%, certificate 10.8%, year seed and primary school is 0.3%. As for employment sector, the highest percentage is private sector, which is 31.7%, followed by government sector 26.3%, unemployed 22.5%, and the remaining respondents were self-employed 19.4%. And last but not least, most of the respondents were live in Kampung Assam Jawa more than 10 years, which is 60.6%, while the respondent that live less than 10 years is 39.4%. So we move to the main findings of this research. The result of objective 1 is R0.005 and p-value is 0.929. Since p-value 0.929 is greater than 0.005, therefore we accepted HO1 and rejected HA1. For the second objective, the result is R0.052, while p-value is 0.360. Since p-value is greater than R value, therefore we accepted HO2 and rejected HA2. Lastly, the result of objective 3 is R0.427, while p-value 0.00. Since the value of R is greater than p-value, therefore we accepted HA3 and rejected HO3. The first research recommendation is awareness and campaign. Everyone must be together and should be strengthened so that they may create efficient and successful solid waste management system in their respective location. As an example, according to New Straits Times 2021, a group of students from the University of Malaya's Faculty of Economics and Administration ran a one-way internet campaign to promote zero waste awareness. A group of students from SMK Ceras in Kuala Lumpur and student peers from that faculty were among the participants. The goal of the project was to assess participant understanding of zero waste concept, and thus it will create awareness among them. The second research recommendation is introducing e-waste management. Diana 2021 stated electronic items that are undesired, damaged, outdated, or reaching their useful life are classified as e-waste. There are at least 9 different forms of e-waste. Household e-waste refers to any electrical or electronic appliances in your home that you no longer need or wish to use and must dispose of. Old televisions, refrigerators, cell phones, computers, air conditioners, and washing machines are just a few examples. Furthermore, for undesired e-waste and to reduce unwanted e-waste at home, the idea of Taslim 2018 is to do an auction. An auction is a method of selling or purchasing products and services in which participants place bids with the goal of competing with the transaction with the highest bidder. The third research recommendation is environmental education at school levels. Recognizing the importance of environmental education, as an example, the Vietnamese government has responded to the waste issue in a timely manner. For all levels of education in Vietnam, several official educational programs and extracurricular activities have been devised and executed. It is because they want to improve people's understanding of the complicated nature of natural and environmental system so that they may change their behavior to be more environmentally friendly. And the last research recommendation is waste collection in rural communities. This is a problem that can be effectively addressed. Based on the questionnaires result collected, some people who live in Kampung Assam Jawa stating that garbage trucks never enter and pass at their residences. So they just dump the garbage by piling the garbage in the backyard of their house and burning it.
For research limitation and future suggestion, the first one is the quantitative research method. The researcher employed a quantitative research method, so the data gathering process was not sufficient. A quantitative approach has a restricted result when it will incorporate close-ended questions in the specified surveys. In the future, instead of utilizing questionnaires, the researcher should conduct an interview session, which called as qualitative research method, with the respondent to ensure that the data collection is more accurate and exact. Because the respondent do not have any limited alternatives to pick from throughout the interview session, they are able to answer the questions more accurately and clearly. Furthermore, qualitative method can make collection of data can be more convincing, where researcher can look into the issue more clearly. Next, commitment from the community. Researcher has provided questionnaires through the respondent through different medium social platforms such as WhatsApp, Twitter, and Instagram. Youth today are easily accessed to information at their fingertips. Data shows that 35% of people aged 18 to 29 live in this area who can participate to the survey, but they will not participate if there is no insistence from the researcher. Proceed to the lack of time. So the maximum time in collecting data should be a year. This resulted in a shortage of time to retrieve data from 315 people in a relatively short period of time. Therefore, time needs to be given for a long time, and people need to work together for a while to answer the questionnaire. Future researcher can also provide questionnaires in hard copy to make it easier for others to answer, especially the elderly who rarely use gadgets. Next, limited model. There are just 3 independent variables that the researcher studied in this study due to a shortage of variables. In other words, the researcher focused solely on the component identified in the literature review. This is because the researcher discovered that narrowing down which independent variable will have the greatest impact on the dependent variable would be easier. But it has resulted in this study having little variety in the independent variable, which has limited the researcher's ability to learn more about other factors. Hence, it suggests that independent variable can be added in the future to see more about the relationship factors, resulting the more understanding to the researcher about the issues. Last but not least, natural disaster. The recent flash flood in Malaysia that collided Klang Valley is one of the reasons researchers could not get the respondent faster. In Kampung, ASSAM, JAWA, the flood affected the community who lives in Jalan Kampung Baru, which the land there is quite deep. Most of the respondents cannot get to participate early in answering the questionnaires. Therefore, they need to wait for some time to recover back their gadget in order to answering the questionnaires. So, in the conclusion, this research is to study and gain better understanding on the community initiatives in handling solid waste in their household in Kampung ASSAM Jawa, in the aspect of knowledge, behavior, and community practice towards handling their household waste. In this study, the relationship of the 3 factors have been identified. This study also has given the evidence that may support the variables. Significantly, this study contributed new knowledge to the community as well as the authority to highlight and be responsible to the most important aspect on handling solid waste. Even though that solid waste management is usually here, some people may find it new, and we need to help all people as well as the organization in achieving sustainability. That's all from us. Thank you.
So that's all from us. Thank you.